All right, guys, welcome back. Um, Today's January 20th. We're almost 3 weeks into the new year, and I hope you guys are all crushing those goals and getting the results that you need in order to, you know, to succeed and plan your budgets and where you're going to be throughout the whole year and start off right with the New Year's. So today I want to touch base on something that might be sound a little bit weird and sensitive to few, but you're cold calling a good friend, right? And the goal isn't to kind of sell; it's to keep trust. Um, right? It's not really to sell. It's to keep trust. You got to be human and you got to stay professional, right? So I'm gonna go over a few things that are clean, natural ways to kind of do it, depending on your situation, right? So again, I'm the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and Cloud Architect Trainer, Sal Cosentino. And today's the 25th of January. January. Maybe sensitive to some, but again, it all depends on who's taking this, who's watching this and taking notes, right? Um, you want to start off with being one, and this might help a lot of people, where you want to be straight up, right? So I want you guys to be straight up, right? And obviously, I want you guys also to be honest. The reason why, before I get into like a script on how this works and whatnot, but or something you can kind of say to that person right off the bat is, you want to why it would work is because you want to allow for least amount of pressure, so no pressure, right? You also want to respect the relationship. And definitely you want to lower defenses, right? Like you don't want to be defensive to your friend. You don't want to be or good friend. You want to instantly lower that defense, instantly lower your defense or defenses, right? So the reason why I'm saying this is because, you want to start off with a quick conversation like, hey man, or hey friend, name, quote, heads up, quick heads up. Before I jump in, this is half friend, half business. If it's not a fit, totally cool. You know, show off your energy, right? Energy is important, especially when you're talking to you know your friend, right? And sometimes it's okay to set the agenda. I mean, sorry, start off with a high energy self intro, right? So hey, how you doing? Quick heads up before I jump in. This is half friend, half business, right? If it's not fit, totally cool. Um, you know, you want to leave that pressure. You want to respect the relationship, obviously, and you want to instantly lower your defense or defenses, right? So go out there and start that off, and go from there, right? So number two, um, you know, light, and disarming. Well, the reason why this works, um, and this is a natural way to do it depending on your situation, right? So the reason why this would work is because humor reset the dynamics of the conversation, right? So humor, right? And then you also want to value those signals, right? And the signals you value, obviously you're valuing them more than the pitch, right? So signal. So you want to work with your humor and how that resets the dynamic, obviously, right? With your friends. And you want to be able to signals your value and obviously this is going to signal your value. And I'm going to start off with a little bit of, all right, don't hang up. I promise this isn't one of those calls. I wanted to run something by you real quick. or will this it, this is a cold call. I promise this will take 30 seconds of your time. I hope you don't hang up, you know? So throw in a little humor. So sometimes it's hard to um when people say how are you, like, you got to learn how to say, you got to learn how to use confidence, you got to learn how to use energy, like, hey, how are you, can I have a quick question for you. I'm selling XYZ product for XYZ amount of dollars, and I know you're my friend, can you buy it? No. Right? So all right, don't hang up. I promise this isn't one of those calls. I wanted to run something by you, laugh a little bit, smile a little bit, right? By you real quick, right? And right away, that comment right there again resets the dynamic, and you're using a little bit of humor. And obviously, too, you want to think about the signal, and obviously signals you value, right? You value more than their pitch, right? Value more than your pitch, right? It's all about your pitch. Number three, very professional, right? Permission based. And I want to talk about permissions, right? Why this works is because you want to give control, right? You also want to build respect, and you want to know, and obviously this works with even friends that are skeptical, works well. Friends that are the skeptical type, right? I know we usually talk about life stuff, right? Not work. Mind if I take 2 minutes to share something I'm working on? And you could tell me honestly if it's relevant, right? You're controlling the situation. I know we usually talk about life stuff, not work, right? You're showing you're aware of your existing relationship, right? This signals you respect boundaries, and you're not trying to hijack the conversation, right? Where it feels reduced, and the pressure, feeling of the pressure. Here, I'm gonna break this break this down into something a little bit better for you, just so that you guys understand. Um, see if I can take this with me for you guys. Give me 1 second. All right. Just want to give you guys an idea of a quote. That way you have the quote in you, and I'll break just this one down just to kind of give you an idea that it can be broken down into, right? And this is the quote that I gave you. This is an example. Oops. And once you see this, you'll understand, right? Right. So I know we usually talk about life stuff, not work. Mind if I take 2 minutes to share something I'm working on, and you could tell me honestly if it's relevant? So if we were to honestly break that down a little bit more, right? I would break this down into three things, right? I would break this down into one, right? And I'm going to break this down for you guys, right? Um, you're acknowledging the relationship, right? In this aspect. So I know we usually talk about life stuff, right? You're showing awareness of your existing relationship with your friends, right? This signals, and we talked about again signals. Um, we talked about signals, right? And you're signaling that you respect boundaries, and you're not really trying to hijack the conversation, right? So again, that reduces the feeling of pressure because you're not jumping straight into a pitch. Next part, the permission part. Um, this is an example. I'm just going to do this for you guys so that I can break this into sections for you. Right? Mind if I take 2 minutes to share something I'm working on? You're asking for permission there. You give control to the other person. People are naturally more open when they feel in charge of the conversation, and that's your goal, is to make sure that they feel in charge of the conversation, right? Makes the approach polite. You're not really being intrusive, right? And you're being really professional about it, right? Um, and lastly, I want to talk about is, and can you tell me, and you can tell me honestly if it's relevant, right? You guys got to do this. You guys got to practice on this. Get one of your partners, join up with somebody, partner of 2 or 3 people, and go through these kind of things together, right? Gives you a lot of practice, especially in the real life world, and break these things down and talk about. Um, and can you tell me honestly if this is relevant, right? That's an offer. That offer is an easy way out, right? So that offers your friend an easy way. Again, I don't care about my spelling here. Over here, you're asking for permission, right? And over here, you're acknowledging your relationship with your friend, right? So you want to offer, your friend as your offers. This offers your friend as an easy way out. You want to allow them to say yes or no without feeling awkward, right? You could tell me honestly if it's relevant. This reduces the resistance, right? In that comment there, and obviously builds trust 130%, right? It signals you value their opinion and not just their money, right? You don't have to be a millionaire to buy. I don't have to buy from millionaires. I don't have to buy from billionaires. I don't have to buy from people that have thousands of followers, you know, especially if they're friends. I can buy anywhere I want. It's up to me where I want to buy. And even if you're my friend, I don't care, right? You have to understand, like, you're cold calling your good friend, and it's like, you're friends here, right? I know we usually talk about life stuff, not work. Right there, you're acknowledging the friendship with your friend. Mind if I take 2 minutes to share something I'm working on? Your friend should acknowledge that. You're asking them for permission now, right? Do it, right? And you could tell me honestly if it's relevant. You know, you can use this structure in any cold or conversation, like as an advisor, not just with your friends. Honestly, it's just about slowing down, right? And slowing down, taking permission, and respecting the mindset of that other person, right? And it's not just in friends; it's just in general, right? I don't have to buy from you just because you're a millionaire, or I don't have to buy from you because you have 100,000 followers. I don't have to buy from you just because you have 1 million followers. You know, um, I don't have to. I can still talk to you just because you're in that following, right? Just remember, use this structure in any cold call or or any just conversation as an advisor, as a consultative, right? Doesn't have to be just a friend. Treat your customers like friends, treat your customers like family. Make they understand what you're going through, right? It's about slowing down, asking permission and respecting the mindset of that other person, right? Um, Number four. And I think I'm gonna make this a last one because I like keeping my videos short. I don't want you guys to be, oh, this is too long. Oh, this is too boring. Well, if you don't watch the full movie, you're gonna miss out on some good points. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't care. This is the last time I'm gonna be explaining this to you, right? If you're interested in anything else, please give me a shout. Let me know. Send me a message, and we'll talk about, you know, training you or your company, right? There's one or two things that I kind of like, we have an advisor angle, or we can if they push back, and this one here, this is the last one I'm gonna say I want to talk about because I think it's important if they push back, right? Especially with you don't want to give the price of the cost, you don't want to argue with your prospects or friends, you don't want to be that pusher, right? And obviously you don't want to give them the price, right? But if they push, right? If they push, right? And what I mean by that is, you know, all good friendships first, right? This is what I mean. All good friendships first, right? And you're telling this to your friend. All good friendships first. If it ever becomes relevant, and obviously you're not going to tell them like as if I'm typing. You're gonna recite this yourself, and you're gonna have the proper tone and the proper pitch, right? Because that's what matters too, right? You don't want to sound too pushy. You don't want to sound too rough. You don't want to sound too, I'm a pushy guy. Well, I used to be like that, and I'm really strong and, you know, really leadership qualities, right? So, if it ever becomes relevant, you know where to find me. Well, you're backing up, right? You're backing off. That line protects the friendship and ironically keeps the doors open, right? You never want to push. Who cares? You don't win every battle, right? Um, You don't win in every battle, and obviously you don't sell each time. But again, keep them inside the conversation, right? So, have that backup plan just in case, right? Throw your pitch, think about options, think about, getting to that gatekeeper, or just, learning how to position yourself in a scenario where it's like, okay, bang, this, and you know exactly what they're saying, right? Because every professional, e- even in professional sales, right? It's a great approach for any warm prospect or just a soft lead, right? So, like, you want to build your friendships first and your business second. Build your trust, right? And obviously credibility will come over time. Always leave that next step in their control, right? Um, you want to maintain that professional and personal boundary. Why I think this works? It reassures your friend that the conversation isn't really about pressuring them. You don't want to pressure them, and go through that, breaking it down, like all good chips first. If it ever becomes relevant, you know where to find me, and learn how to acknowledge, ask for permission, and offer your friend an easy way out, right? Um, Especially if they push, right? So protect your relationship, show respect, right? Show respect. You know, keep the opportunity alive, right? If it ever becomes relevant, you know where to find me, right? You're leaving the door open for them to reach out later. Keep going. And then lastly, reduce awkwardness, right? Awkwardness, right? You want to, this obviously avoids that common trap where friends feel pushed. And then again, if they push, you feel pushed out about that, you can damage trust or future interactions, right? So, even again, even in any professional sales, again, You want to be able to have a great approach for any warm prospect or soft lead, and deal with that object there, right? I'm gonna finish this conversation and this meeting today. I hope you found this educational and informative. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a good day.